From the very dawn of civilization, humans have shared a deep and fascinating desire to decorate their faces. This was not just about looking pretty, it was a powerful form of expression. Makeup was used for rituals, to show social status, or even to protect the skin from the harsh sun. It was a language understood by everyone, a way to communicate without words. People have always found clever ways to create colors and apply them. They used what nature provided, turning berries, minerals, and soot into tools of transformation. This ancient practice tells us a story about our ancestors, showing us that the need to beautify ourselves is a fundamental part of our shared human history. In ancient Egypt, cosmetics were essential for both men and women. They are famous for their dramatic eye makeup. They used a black powder called kohl to create the iconic winged eyeliner look. This was made from ground galena, a dark mineral. Not only did this make their eyes look bigger and more beautiful, but it was also believed to have magical healing properties. They thought it could ward off evil spirits and protect them from eye infections caused by the desert sun and flies. For eyeshadow, they used ground malachite, a green copper ore, creating a vibrant splash of color on their lids. This dedication to beauty was so important that makeup pots and applicators were often buried with them for the afterlife. The ancient Greeks and Romans also had their own beauty ideals, though they were quite different from the Egyptians. The Greeks favored a more natural look. They valued a clear, bright complexion above all else. Women would use white lead powder to lighten their skin, creating a pale and flawless appearance. This was a dangerous practice, as lead is highly toxic, but it showed their commitment to achieving the fashionable look of the time. They would add a touch of color to their cheeks with crushed berries or red ochre. Their approach was subtle, aiming to enhance their features rather than dramatically alter them, reflecting their cultural values of balance and moderation in all things. Meanwhile, the Romans took cosmetics to another level of luxury and extravagance. As the Roman Empire expanded, it absorbed beauty practices from the many cultures it conquered, especially from Egypt and Greece. Roman women had elaborate beauty routines that could take hours. They used chalk powder for a pale face, soot for eyeliner, and fucus, a type of red paint for their cheeks and lips. They even experimented with eyeshadows made from saffron or other expensive imported ingredients. Beauty was a symbol of wealth and sophistication. Slaves, known as cosmeti, were dedicated solely to applying makeup for their mistresses. This period shows how cosmetics became intertwined with social status and the display of power. As the Roman Empire fell, Europe entered the Middle Ages, and attitudes toward makeup shifted dramatically. The Christian Church became very influential, and it often viewed makeup as a sign of vanity and deceit. A painted face was seen as an attempt to alter God's creation, which was considered sinful. As a result, cosmetics became much less common, especially among respectable women. The ideal of beauty was a pale, pure face, which symbolized piety and modesty. Women would go to great lengths to achieve this look, sometimes even bleeding themselves to look more delicate and fair. Despite the official disapproval, some women still used subtle cosmetics, like pinching their cheeks or biting their lips to bring a natural flush of color. The Renaissance, which means rebirth, brought back a love for art, culture, and beauty. Cosmetics slowly came back into fashion, but the ideal look was still an incredibly pale, almost ghostly complexion. A high, round forehead was also considered beautiful, so women would pluck their hairlines to achieve this effect. Queen Elizabeth I of England became a major style icon of this era. She was famous for her stark white face and bright red lips. She used a mixture of white lead and vinegar called Venetian ceruse to create her signature look. This was incredibly dangerous and caused long-term skin damage and health problems, but it set the standard for aristocratic beauty across Europe for decades. This period saw the creation of new and sometimes strange beauty concoctions. Alchemists and apothecaries would mix up potions and powders for wealthy clients. Recipes were often kept secret and passed down through families. Besides whitening the skin, women used rouge made from cochineal beetles or vermilion to add a touch of red to their cheeks. Eyebrows were often plucked thin or completely removed. To add color to the lips, they might use plant-based dyes or even beeswax mixed with pigment. The use of these cosmetics was a privilege of the upper classes, a clear way to distinguish themselves from the working poor, who had sun-tanned skin from laboring outdoors. By the 18th century, the French court at Versailles set the beauty trends for all of Europe. Makeup became theatrical and exaggerated. Both men and women of the aristocracy wore thick white powder on their faces. Bright pink or red rouge was applied in bold circles on the cheeks. They even applied beauty patches, which were small pieces of black silk or velvet cut into shapes like hearts or stars. These were placed on the face to draw attention to certain features, or to cover up blemishes and scars from diseases like smallpox. This era was the peak of artificial beauty, where looking powdered and painted was a clear sign of being fashionable and wealthy. The 19th century, particularly the Victorian era, brought another dramatic change in the perception of makeup. Queen Victoria herself declared that makeup was improper, vulgar, and something used only by actors or prostitutes. This public disapproval drove cosmetics back into the shadows. Respectable women were expected to have a natural, pure appearance. The goal was to look youthful and healthy without it being obvious that you were wearing any makeup at all. Women would use home remedies to achieve a slight glow, such as using beet juice for a lip stain or rice powder to reduce shine. It was an era of hidden beauty, where any visible makeup was a social taboo. Despite the strict social rules, the desire for beauty products never truly disappeared. This created a secret market for cosmetics. Women would buy them from pharmacies, disguised as medical treatments or tonics. Creams were sold to improve the skin rather than to color it, and powders were marketed to soothe irritation. It was during this time that the foundations of the modern beauty industry were laid. Early entrepreneurs like Harriet Hubbard Ayer and Eugene Rimmel began creating products for a wider audience. Rimmel is even credited with creating one of the first non-toxic mascaras, which became incredibly popular. This marked the beginning of commercial cosmetics as we know them. The turn of the 20th century was a revolutionary time for makeup. As silent films became popular, people saw movie stars like Theda Bara and Clara Bow on screen wearing dark, dramatic makeup. Their bold lips and smoky eyes were necessary to make their features stand out on black and white film. Suddenly, makeup was not just for the stage. It was glamorous and desirable. Women wanted to copy the looks of their favorite film stars. This new acceptance, combined with the growing women's suffrage movement, helped makeup become a symbol of female empowerment and modernity. Women were breaking free from old restrictions, and wearing lipstick was a small but visible act of independence. This new demand led to the rise of iconic beauty brands. Entrepreneurs like Max Factor, who created makeup specifically for Hollywood actors, began selling their products to the public. Helena Rubinstein and Elizabeth Arden opened elegant salons in major cities, offering beauty treatments and their own lines of cosmetics. The invention of the metal lipstick tube and compact cases made makeup portable and easy to use. For the first time, high-quality, commercially produced cosmetics were available to the average woman. The beauty counter was born, transforming makeup from a homemade secret into a thriving, accessible industry that would continue to grow throughout the century. The 20th century saw makeup trends change with every decade, each one reflecting the social and cultural mood of the time. The 1950s were all about glamour, inspired by Hollywood icons like Marilyn Monroe and her signature red lips and winged eyeliner. The 1960s brought a youthful rebellion with pale lips and dramatic eyes defined by thick lashes, popularized by models like Twiggy. The 1970s embraced a more natural, sun-kissed look with glossy lips and bronze tones. Then came the 1980s, an era of excess with bold, bright colors, heavy blush, and statement eyeshadow. Each decade had its own distinct face, showing how powerfully makeup can capture the spirit of an age. As we moved into the 21st century, the beauty industry became a global powerhouse. The internet and social media completely changed the game. Beauty bloggers and vloggers on platforms like YouTube and Instagram became the new trendsetters. They taught millions of people how to do everything from a simple smoky eye to complex contouring techniques. Makeup was no longer just about following trends set by magazines or celebrities. It became about personal creativity and skill. This digital revolution made beauty more democratic and accessible than ever before. Anyone could become a makeup expert and share their passion with a global audience, creating a vibrant online community. In recent years, the focus has shifted significantly toward inclusivity and diversity. For too long, mainstream beauty brands offered a very limited range of foundation shades, leaving many people with darker skin tones unable to find products that matched. The launch of Fenty Beauty by Rihanna in 2017, with its groundbreaking 40 shades of foundation, was a major turning point. It forced the entire industry to recognize the importance of catering to all skin tones. Now brands are expected to offer inclusive shade ranges, and advertising campaigns are featuring models of all ethnicities, ages, and genders. This movement is reshaping beauty standards to be more representative of the real world. Today, makeup is more personal and expressive than ever. It can be a tool for subtle enhancement or a canvas for bold artistic expression. People wear it to feel more confident, to play with their identity, or simply for the joy of the creative process. The industry is also seeing a growing demand for clean beauty, with consumers seeking out products with transparent ingredient lists and sustainable packaging. From the kohl-lined eyes of ancient Egypt to the viral trends of TikTok, the story of makeup is a colorful reflection of our changing world. It remains a powerful way for us to tell our own stories, one brushstroke at a time.